How are you guys? Happy Tuesday. Thank you for coming on. Say hi. How are you? Let us know. How's your Tuesday?
Mhm, mhm.
Today, we're going to be talking about going from employee to owner, and just successfully doing that. And how does that look? So, we're going to interview Nicole. And we're just going to share with you a little bit about her journey. Obviously, we're going to be sharing more like posts and more like our own stories so you guys can also get some inspiration, get some encouragement, get some insights into the changes that happened as you go from employee to owner, how we work a business, because there's a lot of unknowns that a lot of people don't know. If you have any questions in reference to going from employee to ownership, or if you're just starting out and you have questions that maybe you don't have an answer and you really don't have anyone that you want to answer and you feel like, God, this is stupid. And it's like, don't feel that way.
Yeah, don't.
There's, you don't have to do this alone. We're here for you. And we want to be able to help you make it as streamlined as possible, where it's not chaotic, where you don't have to do the hard work. So we're here to answer any questions. So, Nicole,
Yes.
well, let's see your journey. No, well, in reality, I'm going to ask you questions just so I can be a little bit, um, we'll ask more questions maybe in like we were thinking about maybe every 3 or 4 months doing one of these and just different parts of being an owner. Um, because there is multiple parts to all this.
And we're continually learning too. It's not like
Yeah.
Sachi and I have it all figured out. I mean, we're continually learning. We do have some like-minded traits because we're both diggers and we're both researching all the time and improving. So this is why we're able to grow exponentially. But geez, we can totally share even in like a 3 or 4 months, and there'll be so many great new things that we've uncovered.
It's true. And so don't feel that you're behind. Don't feel like you are stupid. Don't feel like, your chaos is the only chaos out there. Don't
Yeah.
feel like you know that you're brave. You know that you're supposed to lead. You know that you have something in you for other people.
Yep.
And it might look messy. It might look chaotic. It might
That's
be out
okay.
of control. But at the same time, you also have control in many aspects that most people don't. So we're here to encourage you and applaud you for taking the step and to share with you as well
Mm.
our journey. So,
Yep.
Nicole, how did you come? Let's just start to the beginning. You've not only been a business owner now, you've been a business owner before. So
Yes,
maybe
I
you
have.
can share 2 or 3 minutes on that.
Okay, so I started a business back in 2004. I graduated from college with a graphic design degree, and I could not get a job at an agency. Was one of my dream desires to work at an agency, and just life events happened. Couldn't land the job, and I ended up working at a bank, and I opened up people's accounts. So I was not the teller, I was the customer service person that you would open up a checking account with. And this guy comes in and he did search engine optimization, and the whole thing starts from there. I open up his business account and he teaches me code, and I learned how to build websites back in 2004, and I grew that into a little thriving agency of about 5-ish people, and grew that until about 2009, right when the recession hit. And then I went back to freelance. I could not keep the team.
Yeah. And what was one of your reasons for shutting down?
Became a new mom, and my family was really important to me, and I needed the flexibility. I had a lot of clients and I wanted them taken care of.
Yeah. And it can be hard.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
It
so
was
if you're a
really
new mom or,
I've
it's
been
hard.
there.
Yeah, right? I have not been there in the same sense for the reasons that I don't have children, but I actually raised two children for 10 years.
Mhm.
Um, so now then you go into having to work for someone else.
Yes. Yes. So I sold the business. I ended up praying to find this partner or person that would take over my clients, and I wanted them taken care of because I just poured a lot of time into them, and so I wanted to make sure they were taken care of. And I ended up finding this really great person that I was able to sell my business to, and I just wanted the freedom and flexibility, and so that ended up happening in 2011. Mhm. And my
Yeah.
daughter was 1, she was already 1.
Yeah. And so then you work for this agency because obviously they took over,
Yep.
um, and the agency grew.
Mhm. Yep.
And after, in the middle of that, maybe you want to share a little bit, of your story.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I sold the business in July, June. June of 2011. I'd say there was roughly 4 or 5 people in the agency. So you have the owners, it was a husband and wife team, and there was one developer, and there were no writers. We had yeah, we had a developer, and that was about it. So I was the design head, I guess you would call it. I saw this gap where I could grow a creative department. So you get a creative. Um, you basically will meet with the clients, and then you uh, basically solve their pain creatively. Well, there was always this business side, and I came in with the design side. But then we knew that we even needed writers. So I had learned about this thing called content strategy back in the early 2000s. Not 2000, like around 2010, I had learned about content strategy. And so I pitched the idea of we need to get actually a strategist on board. And so we ended up hiring a content strategist, and then I had another graphic designer, and we started growing this department, and it went pretty good. I mean, we were growing exponentially. We were working on large websites. These were not some little tiny projects. These were projects that, as I grew with the agency, the projects went from, it would start off at like $1,000, and then it grew to about $4,000. Then it grew to about 8,000. Then it grew to about 15, and then it grew to 25, and then we had our first plus $50,000 website. We were in shock. Well, a lot of that happened because we kept bettering our own website, and we were getting better at our game. And these clients started to pay attention, going, wow, they carry something that I actually really need. And so I was able to help spearhead all that.
Yeah.
Is that
And
good?
let's see, what about afterwards? Like, where, how did it all, I guess, how did I come into the picture, or like, what was your desire?
Yeah. Okay. So there was this transition period, I would say about 2017. Things were starting to shift a bit. The agency had merged with another agency, so I ended up working for two advertising agencies. Um, and that's another thing too. The agency that I sold to was originally a creative branding agency that also did websites. Okay, but then as the years progressed, they started to move away from doing branding and websites, and they started to shift into digital marketing. And digital marketing is very different than branding. And it revolves around campaign work, and you're doing ads, and you're doing like display ads that you'd see on websites, and you'd be doing social ads. And it was a whole new dynamic, and a little bit of unfamiliar territory. Well, in about 2015, we merged with another agency, and they focused more on Hispanic. And of course, I don't know a lick of Spanish. Sachi does. But those years, I was running the creative department strong for a good solid couple years. But the dynamic shifted because the creatives that we had inside the creative department were very stable with branding and websites, but not with creative campaigns. And so that was a very different shift all around. It went from branding and creative to full blown ad agency that does media buying. Way over my head because that was not my background. And 2017 was a complete game changer because we were full blown digital marketing agency, and everybody was being stretched to learn a whole new system. 2018, we had our writer ended up leaving, and it created a gap to where this new person comes in. Lo and behold, this new person happens to be coming from the ad world of Madison Avenue. Well, completely shifted my role because this person had more experience, and it was a shift for me because I started to learn what true ad campaigns were like. So this person became an executive creative director. I then became art director, and I started to learn what ad campaigns are, how creative campaigns fit a dynamic of a 360 look. We're talking billboard, display ads, direct mail, website, social, lots of social, and how the whole thing functions. And I got to learn how to come up with this visual part of a big idea. The executive creative director came up with the ideas, but then I had to come up with how they visually came to life. And it stretched me big time. My conceptual design work grew exponentially during these years. I met Zachi right during that shift. So I went from creative director that knew all this branding and web work, then to art director doing full blown ad campaigns. And Zachi met me right when that shift happened.
That's true.
Yep. And how I was honored through the process because I was inexperienced.
Yeah. And so this is kind of like I want to talk about this later, as in like maybe this is maybe we'll do it as part of my live
Mhm.
on how we why did we do this? Like why did we open an agency? Um so but for now, the transition. So going from being an employee,
Mhm.
treated as an employee,
Mhm.
to now coming into owner,
Mhm.
and what what are the things that you would encourage a new owner or someone that is coming out of the employee world into ownership? Like, what would you tell them? What would you want to encourage them with?
Sure. Right off the bat, I can tell you to follow your passion. If you have a desire deep down that you've been wanting to do for the longest time, go do it.
It's
And
good.
follow your heart to know exactly when you're supposed to leave your day job. But don't hold back, because that's what I did. I held back, but I also knew I needed to learn a lot. And I chose to stay where I was mainly because of stability. So, in my particular scenario, I am breadwinner for my family, and it made a lot of sense for me to stay where I was. I was honored throughout my journey, even though of a very interesting journey. But I was honored all the way through it, even through the end. And I will not be here today had I not followed my passion. And so my passion was to design, to teach, and to coach. In a nutshell, that's really what it is about. And I'm still learning how to do all three. But at my core, I'm a designer. That's really it. I'm this really awesome creative that fell in love with design work, but I also know that I am capable of doing so much more than just design. And that's what Zachi saw in me. She saw that I was able to do the more. And I had been yearning. I had a deep, deep desire. Oh, geez, since the very beginning, when I made that little prayer that I needed a partner, I really wanted a partner that I could connect with for content because I didn't understand the strategy part very well. But for some crazy reason, I'm able to intuitively come up with visual ways to communicate strategy. Don't ask me how I do it. I do it. And I wow the socks off of people time and time again. And I'm completely like, I'm even shocked at my own self because it just naturally comes. But then I've learned over the years of what it means to be stripped of how I think it should be, really, because it isn't about how I think it should be. It really should be what the client needs, or it should be about what we know the goals and objectives to be about. And I learned all these lessons. So, had I not gone through the fire of the employee route, I would not be able to thrive successfully as an owner. Did I answer the question or no? Sort of.
No.
Kind
Well,
of.
I would wanna,
What
like,
part did I leave out?
well, I think maybe if someone is stuck and you told them,
That's
"Go
right.
do it,"
I can
would
follow your passion.
maybe what actions could they take?
Yeah, okay. So, some key things for me was, I am a digger. So I do a lot of research. Forget about your skill, your trade skill. In order to be a successful business owner, I had to learn how to lead. I had to learn how to lead myself. I had to get into a structured flow on the daily. None of this, like, I'm going to wake up when I want and I'm going to, sort of work today because I have my own schedule. No, there's none of that. Even as I am a creative, I am still pretty structured. Is there room for improvement? Yes, there is total room for improvement. But I wake up with an agenda that I know that I've got to do each and every day. I have done enough research for me to know these are the next things that I need to learn to improve my work life. Does that help? Did I answer? Okay.
Yes, I think so. I think it'll give, someone maybe the encouragement, maybe some idea of like, well, I really need to put myself out there and structure myself because if you wanna move forward into going from being an employee to owning your own business, um, there has to be a lot of structure, there has to be a lot of dedication, and a lot of time, put into the new business, especially the first 5 years are the toughest.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's some of that. And yeah, I think for now we'll leave it here. And guys, if you have any questions for Nicole. Um, Maybe you have something, maybe something that's more like literal, as in like maybe I need help in this area, like where can I go or whatever, um, or just yeah, anything else, please go ahead and contact us. We're more than happy to assist you. And yeah, we're here for you. And that's it for today. This is a pre recording that we did because Nicole was not going to be available on Tuesday. But we're also going to be doing another one after this one on me for in 2 weeks when we're not here again. Um, we have something else. So, guys, we love you. We will see you
Mwah.
next Tuesday, same
Mhm.
time, 5 p.m. on Pacific time, 8 p.m. on Eastern time. You can always go to our Facebook private group, which is on Unstoppable and Unashamed, and the and is an ampersand. Unashamed dash entrepreneurship. If you just put Unstoppable and Unashamed, you're going to see it. You're going to find it because if you're a friend of ours, you're
Yeah.
probably going to find it really quickly. Guys, we love you. Please go ahead and comment like always, and we will see you soon. Have a great one.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye, guys.